plowed the prairies, built the cities where they trade, dug the mines and built the workshops, endless miles of railroad laid. Now we stand outcast and starving.
The Richmond Progressive Alliance was started in someone's living room with maybe 2 or 3 people. Juan Reardon was there, Gail McLaughlin was there, who's, by the way, running for Lieutenant Governor. Yes, corporate money free. You have a group filled with so many different types of personalities. You're not always going to get along. Right? We're not always going to get along. I don't always get along with my wife. I don't, right? But I love her, and I know that we're on the same page. And so that's what the Richmond Progressive Alliance. That's what we're based on. We're saying, in fact, there's a book called by Steve Early. I don't know how many of you have. Any of you heard of Steve Early's book? Excellent. I recommend that you get it, and it's called Refinery Town: Big Oil, Big Money, and the redefining of an American city. The only way we're going to get back our government is to start electing candidates who don't take corporate money. Thank you so much.
Basically, after the election, when we were all freaking out, it was very clear that there was a need for an immediate way to respond, and a way to respond at a scale that we had not before, and that folks just needed information, right, so they could plug in. And so we wanted to take a step to form this experiment of Bay Resistance and stop working so much in our silos by issue and by community, but to make sure that we were working together. So we have a steering committee that has folks representing the immigrant community, the Muslim community, folks working on climate, women, workers, folks on Medicaid, right? All of the sort of most impacted communities in this moment.
So a little bit about San Francisco Rising, as it was mentioned, it's a multiracial, multi-ethnic alliance of 8 different base-building, community-based, member-based organizations here in San Francisco. I'll name them all. Causa Justa Just Cause, Poder, that is on Valencia Street, the Chinese Progressive Association, Coleman Advocates for Children and Youth, Filipino Community Center, South of Market Action Network, Mujeres Unidas y Activas, their offices are up there, and La Colectiva de Mujeres, and the Day Labor Program. So our collective bases are the working class of San Francisco. It represents the Black, the Latino, the Chinese, the Filipino communities in the city. We've supported a lot of really great campaigns, such as free Muni for youth, free Muni for seniors, free Muni for people with disabilities, free city college, healthy San Francisco. A lot of really great things that, if you're a working class person of color in the city, can make a huge difference. Ultimately, though, it's not enough. We still see a lot of people of color having to leave the city.
The San Francisco Berniecrats were formed right after the Democratic primaries. July last year was our first meeting, and the idea behind it was we have had so many people who worked so hard on the Bernie Sanders campaigns, who were so committed to a corporate-free government, who were, dedicated hours and hours to the Bernie Sanders campaign, and we didn't want to just see all this energy dissipate. So we formed the San Francisco Berniecrats to redirect all that energy into local San Francisco politics, issues, and organizing. And we've been working with groups like Justice for Mario Woods, the Wealth and Disparities in the Black community, on issues of racial justice, police brutality, on the Clean Money campaign, the Disclose Act, and on some of our members were very involved in the divestment model. We were involved in the Defund DAPL coalition. And one of the things that the Berniecrats are trying to do and really want to see this improve is working together with organizations, all across different issues, different groups, and to really be working on issues together. Because right now, I actually really admire what Bay Resistance has been able to accomplish in SF Rising.
We have public defenders for immigrants detained by ICE. I think one of 3 jurisdictions in the United States, right? All of the things that, again, either SF Rising or constituent organizations have taken on and been very effective. We're dealing with, again, the groups that are pushing neoliberal policies in San Francisco and fascists in DC.
You know, the most important piece of the how is that we do this together. And, you know, we have a pretty strong progressive movement, and we have communities that have been organizing for a long time. We have resources on the left in San Francisco that other cities would dream of, and it doesn't always add up to the sum of its parts. So I'm just going to make the pitch for the unity right now, right? Which is that we are not all going to endorse the same candidates all the time. And we're not all going to agree on every piece of legislation. But we need to understand that we need each other for the long term more than we need any one of those candidates or any one of those policies, right? And so we have to struggle with each other and have these kinds of conversations, have these kind of debates, and that's why I think it's super exciting that there's becoming more room for these sort of big conversations. We can push each other to be, you know, the most progressive that we can be and the most righteous that we can be. The best way to, you know, have affordable housing, we can all stay here, is to preserve the affordable housing we have, right? And get rid of Costa-Hawkins so we can have real rent control. And we should, you know, I think the municipal level is really important, but we need to be in solidarity with our sister cities around the Bay. Because if we're asking for one thing here, and, you know, they're selling out to Facebook in Palo Alto, you know, the capital flight is very real. And we're part of a huge campaign that's just brewing right now in San Jose. Google's going to build a giant mega complex there, but it's a working class town that's ready to fight. We need your help to make it work, and we're trying right now to launch volunteer committees, you know, folks who can help run the phone banks, run the canvases, and we're having this big convening on September 16th. So we'd love to invite everyone to come out and be a part of that, and I think it'll make a difference if we have leftists involved in the, you know, at the forefront of the resistance, and that's what we want. And leftists who are going to be welcoming to people from all political stripes, and try and, you know, kind of pull them towards the vision that we all share for what could be possible here in San Francisco and in the Bay.
Specifically here for San Francisco, attend our San Francisco Rising volunteer orientations. We're going to be having canvassing events. It's very important that we get you involved. If you can't make it out, donate money to our action fund. At the very least, join other democratic organizations. If you care about the environment, join the Sierra Club. If you're a tenant, join the Tenants Union. If you bike, join the San Francisco Bicycle Coalition, and make sure you're pushing for all of these ideals within these organizations so that we can further this common agenda. Help us pass Proposition 13 reform. I can't emphasize how important that is. We're talking in San Francisco $700 million that we're taking from the corporations for things like schools, for things like housing, for things like transportation. It's probably going to be one of the biggest fights in a generation in California. We need to make sure that everybody is supporting this.
So what we did in Richmond, we believe it's possible to do in every city, in every state, and we want to be able to do that. And organize, collaborate, inform. What we did in Richmond, we reminded people of how the electeds that we were running against, how they voted. People forget.
I know that I would love to have, you know, a socialist candidate or a socialist elected official in San Francisco, or many of them. But we cannot say because you're a Democrat, we're not going to support you. And I think we do need to have paid organizers, because it's so difficult to be organizing after you're working a 40, 50, 60 hour week, you know? So I think that's something we need to be thinking about, and how we can pool resources together. And I know the RPA actually has a rented, you know, you have an office where all the organizations go towards. So that's really important. How do we pull our resources together?